Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be kicking off the staple sweater knit along here with you. Now, kicking off doesn't mean that it is starting right now. We are just opening the doors for signups and announcing some raffle winners. So if you are here, please say hello. Tell us where you are joining from today. And we have a lot of details to cover today. And now, if you are a friend for a while and you attended a couple of live streams for me in the past, you might notice I'm in a different area than normal. I am in my parents' camp, actually, in upstate New York. So please, I'm praying that the Wi-Fi gods are kind to us and that everything's good, because I'm in a very rural area and Wi-Fi is not always the most reliable. And I moved this up a day to open the doors because tomorrow I'm flying back home to DC area, and I should have been at home in time for kicking this off and doing this at 5:30 tomorrow. But I'm really afraid that my plane is going to be delayed. So we're doing it a day early, and I appreciate you all so much for being here. If there are any tech issues, just let me know in the comments. But I think let's just get into it. So I'm seeing some people saying hello. We have Janice here from Long Island. Hello, Janice. Hello, Sage Woman. Love to see you. Mary Jo from Dallas, Texas. Love it. And Kim, nice to see you. Kim joins me on our weekly Stitch and Screams quite often. So I'm so glad to see you here. I'm so glad you're checking it out. And great. I'm so glad it looks and sounds good so far. That's awesome. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so today we are talking about the staple sweater knit along. So let's get into it. I am going to do a little presentation here, and I'm going to adjust my screen here just so I make sure I don't miss anything, right? There's a lot of details we need to cover just before we announce the raffle winners coming soon. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything in terms of details. So I'm just kind of setting up my computer here. There we go. All right. And so, yeah, we are talking about the staple sweater knit along. Doors are now open. And now this knit along is for you. Honestly, it's so open. If you've never tried knitting a sweater before, it's for you. If you have knit one that didn't fit or you didn't love, like whether it was the yarn, the tension, or it just didn't fit right, this KAL is going to be a great opportunity for you. If you have left one or two sweaters unfinished, maybe you were overwhelmed or you were intimidated, this knit along is for you. If you just love to knit sweaters, this is a perfect place for you as well. And if you are looking for a fun community to knit with this fall, then this is going to be a great opportunity for you. So if any of those are hitting for you, and you're like, yeah, that's me, that's why I'm here, let us know in the comments. I'd love to see why you're interested in this knit along. And if there's a reason beyond this little list I created, be sure to share that as well. I would love to hear it. And I think others would be curious to hear if others are here for the same reasons, right? And also that'll just help me and inform me on what I can provide to you to make sure this is a good fit for you, right? So getting into the details a little bit more. So for this knit along, we are going to be knitting the staple sweater. And I'm going to get more into the details about what a knit along is, as well as what this knit along involves in just a second. But basically, we would be knitting the staple sweater together over the course of 9 weeks. And the staple sweater, just to give you a little bit of background here, is a made-to-measure knitting pattern that lets you use any gauge and any yarn, which on its own is just really cool. There aren't a lot of patterns out there that allow you to do that, especially not a lot of patterns that will do the math for you. So with my knitting patterns, they are interactive PDFs. All you have to do is take your measurements that are in the pattern and do your gauge swatch with whatever yarn you want to use. And you plug them into the pattern, and the pattern just does the math for you in the back end. It does all the calculations and inputs the number of stitches and rows that you have to knit automatically right where you need them throughout the pattern. So that in itself is one thing that really makes this pattern unique. But the design itself is a pretty basic knitted raglan sweater that is worked from the top down. So let me just see here what we got in the chat. Yeah, so it looks like we've got a couple people here who are, well, here, Janice, this would be your first sweater. I've had this pattern in my chosen yarn for a while. It's awesome. Just never carved out the time for it. So yeah, this sweater is actually like such a good first sweater pattern. Because it is knit top down. I find that raglan sweaters are just so good. My first sweater pattern was knit piece by piece, and you seam it all up at the end. And it was just, that's challenging because you can't try it on as you go, for one. But also, if you're not really adept at seaming, if you're not sure like the tension you need for the armholes, there's just a lot of room for error there. Whereas when you're knitting a top-down raglan, you're able to try on as you go. There's no seaming involved whatsoever, so it takes that whole situation out of the equation. I think it helps to remove a lot of possibilities for error. So I think this is just such a good first sweater pattern, as well as the detail that's included in the pattern and the resources. And of course, with the knit along, you'll be getting all of the resources. And in terms of the design of this pattern, it is made to measure with 5 to 6 inches of positive ease for like a perfect relaxed fit. For the design features, it has a folded collar. So you knit the collar basically twice the length to start. That's where we begin and cast on. And then I'll teach you and I'll show you how to do the folded collar. It also comes with 2 sleeve options. One is knit, basically just, it's called I think, I'm trying to remember how I labeled it in the pattern, but in my mind, I call it the fitted sleeve option or straight sleeve option. And the reason why I say fitted is because the way you work your increases for that sweater or that sleeve option is that you increase them independently from the body. So it's not necessarily every other row, say, that you are increasing. It's kind of dependent on your arm size relative to your body size. So it creates a nice fit for the sleeve that you then knit straight down, which was something that we kind of came across in testing. So that was just a nice little bonus to have 2 sleeve options. And at the end, you decrease the sleeve to do like a kind of balloon sleeve, or I kind of like it if you just don't do that and just do it straight, like a full-on straight sleeve. It's pretty cool. And then the other option is a little bit more beginner friendly. It's the decreased sleeve option. And I'm so sorry, I don't have pictures in here and I'm not wearing it. But basically what you do is you increase at the same consistency throughout the body. So you would increase the body and the sleeves at the same time as you are going. And then once you get to the sleeves, the opening for the sleeves would be a bit bigger. But what you do is you gradually decrease your sleeves to be, I think it's 60% of what it starts with. So it's a nice gradual decrease, and then it hugs your wrist real nice. So if you're not a fan of having loose sleeves, that's a good option. And again, it's a little bit more beginner friendly because you don't have to be checking like, oh, is this an increased row for the sleeve, for the body, for both? It's just a little bit easier to navigate. Now, also you have ribbed sleeve cuffs and hem. It's just a simple 1x1 rib for the sleeve cuff and hems, and perfect neck shaping. So the neck shaping, it's kind of a tight neck shaping. I'll give you some tips if you want to make it a little looser. And we work some German short rows together to have it so the top of the sweater works just a little bit lower and fits nicely around your neck. And it's a little bit higher than on your shoulders, so it just comes down rather than having it like straight up against your neck. And now I'd say this difficulty for this pattern is ambitious beginners is what I call it, to intermediate level knitters. But I think it's a really fun pattern, honestly, even if you've done quite a few sweaters, just because of the way that the pattern is created with having it be made to measure using any yarn and gauge. It's just, and honestly, you can always approach this pattern again and make basically a brand new sweater if, say your measurements change, for example, or, you want to use a different yarn. So there's just so many possibilities here. And I've seen so many options. I'll be kind of sharing this throughout, leading up to the knit along as well. If you ever want to go and check out the Ravelry page, I'll put a link in the description below. But if you go to Ravelry staple sweater New Wave Knitting. You know what? I might even pull it up here. You can see there's so many projects that people have done with different yarns for different body sizes, and they just turn out so well. So I'm going to actually pull that up real quick. Staple sweater, New Wave Knitting. There we go. Let me switch on over, share this tab instead. Make sure that's sharing okay. Yeah. So yeah, if you ever want to come over here, it's again, I'll put the link in the description below after, but you can just have so much fun with stripes, with making it scrappy, with, you know, for this person, small and tired, she's allowed me to, like, you'll see this picture on the actual Ravelry page. She did a totally scrappy sweater. I think she held one strand of this brown DK weight yarn. She took notes in her project here. And then she just held a bunch of different yarns as she was knitting along with it with that one DK weight strand to create this beautiful, I'm obsessed with this sweater. It's like such a fun option. Same person used the sweater pattern to make this sweater. And what she did was she held one strand of, I believe it was fingering weight yarn with a strand of mohair to create this beautiful kind of tonal, in-depth texture that's completely different from the sweater she made here, right? So again, the possibilities are just endless. And you can also just, if you're like, I want to see someone with my body size wearing this, you know, there's a bunch of different examples throughout. You know, I've seen people make these for their boyfriends. I think I've seen a couple men knit this as well. So if fits, of course, I had Pearl Jam. He, I don't know if we all know him on Instagram, but he was one of my testers and he did a great job and had a wonderful sweater to show for it as well. So yeah, highly recommend you check out the Ravelry page for some inspiration if you're curious about the pattern. Now I'm going to just pop over here. I just want to check in on the comments before I keep going. Let's see. Oh, okay. Kim, you're interested in made to fit patterns. Perfect. You are in the right spot here. Looking for a community to knit with. I have to say, and we'll get into this in a second actually, but from people who want community from a knit along, the past 2 knit alongs I've done have fostered such great community. It's something that I really think is so special and so important. It's something I really love to infuse in my knit alongs. So you are definitely, I think, if you're interested in knit along, you're looking for a community, this is a great option for you. Mary, I've never done a knit along before. Knit one cotton tee alone with many problems. Okay, so looking forward to knitting with a group. That's another thing here. You know, like I'm kind of going to be doing, well, you know what? I'll get to all this in a second. You know what? I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm just going to explain myself again here in just a moment. So let me share screen one more time and we'll kind of keep working through my little presentation here. So what's included in the knit along? Okay. So let me make sure this is sharing. Okay, let me actually do that. Perf. And if I can move myself, I can't. Okay, you know what? Let me go back. Nope. Is it this one? No, this one. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I had a good layout to begin with. I'm kind of blocking something down there, but I will read it. Okay. So what's included in the knit along? So we are going to do a step-by-step schedule. We are going to tackle one part of the pattern each week to get progress without overwhelm. And I love doing this. I love setting up kind of what I call a curriculum. So in case you don't know, I used to actually be a middle and high school English teacher. So I've got a whole education background. I love to figure out ways to like work things up so that it leads to like an end result for a big project or whatever it is. And I love applying that knowledge to my knit alongs to just create a step-by-step weekly schedule for us. And actually, you know what? I'm going to show you. I've got this linked in the description below, but just to give you, if you want to get more details on the knit along and sign up, which I mean, we'll probably wait for the raffle winners, but on this page linked in the description below, it's got a bunch of details about the knit along. But one thing that I think was fun and important to share is the KAL schedule. So the knit along will be running, starts October 27th. And that's a Monday. And basically what we're going to do is each week we're going to get together. I'll do a live stream on Monday. I'm thinking 12 p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to be live streaming, showing you one part of the pattern. And for week 1, we're going to be working on our gauge swatches together. So we're not casting off right away. I'm going to give you guys my best tips for gauge swatching, especially because this pattern lets you use any yarn and any gauge. I'm going to give you tips to find the perfect gauge for you and the yarn that you're working with. And that's really the foundation of building a great sweater with this pattern. So we'll work on that together. And then week 2, we're going to cast on and fold our collars. Week 3, we are tackling the toughest part of the sweater, which we get out of the way pretty quick here in week 3, which is working our German short rows, which is the neck shaping, and starting the increases. Week 4, seeing so much progress, we're going to separate the sleeves and start knitting the body. And in week 5, we're just going to continue working on the body of our sweaters. That week is going to be a great week if you're falling behind at all, if you just need extra support, if you got stuck, say, with the German short rows and you need a little more support. This is a great week during that live stream where I can go back and give some more guidance on the parts that we've already covered. And just to keep things fun, we're going to have a little giveaway, a twice sheared sheep row counter, which I use in all of my knitting projects. So we'll have just a fun little giveaway during that week as we are knitting the body of our sweaters to keep us motivated. Week 6, we're going to pick up the stitches of our first sleeve and start knitting that together. Week 7, we are not entering Sleeve Island, which is when you basically you have only one sleeve left of your pattern, but you just can't get through it. We are avoiding Sleeve Island. We are knitting that second sleeve, and we are going to celebrate with another twice sheared sheep row counter giveaway. Week 8, we are almost done. We're going to be working on the finishing touches for our sweaters, weaving in ends and blocking. I'll make sure, if you have any gaps in your underarms, if there's any gaps and, issues around your German short rows, around your neck, which is common, then I can teach you how to weave in ends and block so your sweater looks at the end. And week 9, we are going to celebrate, and all those who finish their staple sweaters will be eligible to win some awesome prizes. So I'm gonna just stop sharing real quick to get over here to the comments once again. So I wanted to just share that basically, if you've never, this would be my first sweater. I've had this pattern. Oh, sorry, we've already talked about that. But yeah, just it's just going to be such a supportive community that we tackle something week by week. So again, if you are coming here and this is your first time knitting a sweater, the overwhelm's out of it. I know for me, I was super overwhelmed when I made my first sweater. And that's why I avoided it for so long. But we're going to tackle it together. It's going to be great. And also, I love during the live streams, there's so much community building as well. So, this is what I was going to say. Even if you have already knit a few sweaters, if you're an expert, right, and you're looking for that sense of community, those live streams, in addition to our weekly Discord, which I'll mention in just a second, great place for community. And one of the best things I love about knitting is that there's always so much to learn. There's always more techniques to know, tips to get. And when we come together and have that community aspect, everyone can share in on those tips. And, if you're struggling with tension, you can get a tip from someone. And, there's just so much community and inspiration as well. We'll just be sharing what we're knitting, what yarn we're using. You'll get ideas for sweaters and just be ready to knit sweaters for the rest of your life after this, honestly. That's kind of what happened after the staple sock knit along. Everyone was like, oh my God, I've got so many ideas for my next pairs of staple socks, right? Cool. So Kim, question here. Is there bust shaping? With raglans, there's sometimes the issues of the shoulders having to be too big in order to fit the bust. Good question. There is not bust shaping in this sweater, unfortunately. I'm actually just working on a sweater pattern now. It's in design. And I'm working, actually the staple tank is in testing. And that's the first pattern I have with bust shaping. And I think basically we're working out some issues with that in testing right now. And I plan on adding in an add-on at the end once that's all finalized. So when you purchase, if you purchase the pattern, you'll get like a little add-on for guidance with bust shaping with this pattern. But to your point, with raglan's, there's sometimes the issues of the shoulders having to be too big in order to fit the bust. That's with set size patterns. So with made to measure, with how this pattern works is actually you take it's like an average measurement between your head and your neck circumference to get your neck opening and how big the collar will be. And then from there, you work to increase to your bust measurement. And that allows, basically, it helps to avoid that issue of having the shoulders being too big in order to fit the bust. So this pattern kind of, even though there's no bust shaping, it kind of avoids that pattern, or it avoids that issue because of the way it's constructed with your made to measure measurements. So I hope that puts some concerns at ease. All right. Oh, Caroline, we can do it that quickly. The fastest I've made a sweater is 5 months. That is a great question. So yeah, honestly, when we did the staple tee knit along, I did the curriculum very similar to how I've got it set up here for us. And so many people finished. So many people. If I'm remembering, I think I had 300 signups for the knit along. And I'm trying to remember, it was like, I think there is over 50 finished tees. And the thing is with this pattern too, is you can definitely finish if you knit with a bulkier yarn. So I'd say the recommended, even though you can knit with any yarn and any gauge, I recommend between fingering weight all the way through bulky weight, not super bulky. But if you knit the sweater with a bulky weight yarn and you're following along each week and like challenging yourself with those goals, you can totally knit a sweater in 9 weeks. Yeah, you got this, Caroline. I believe in you, and with our support and the accountability that comes with a knit along, you'll definitely be able to finish it. Oh, cool. Melena says, I did test the staple tee and it fit really good. Testing the staple tank now, and it is looking so good. I'm so glad to hear that, Melena. Thank you for sharing that. All right, let's keep working through my little slide deck here because I've only covered like 2 things. Let's see, share screen. Thank you for your patience here. Okay, I'm going to keep myself on the side. All right, so I covered step-by-step schedule, weekly live stream. So yeah, we're going to be tackling it each week. We'll start out with a live stream midday Monday. From there, I'll follow up with an email that gives you, link to the replay, which the replay and the live streams will all be available on YouTube, just like this one. But they will be exclusive. So you have to sign up for the knit along in order to get access to the weekly live streams. Also, we're going to have a community on a private Discord. And in that Discord, we have, if you're not familiar, Discord's like a server. Imagine, you've got you're in the Discord, and then there's 5 different channels or so. And one's like KAL, just chat, which is like chat about anything and everything. There's one that's like pattern question. So if you've got a specific question about the pattern, you can ask it in there, and anyone can jump in at any time if they've got the answer. It's not just me, but I'll be in there monitoring it, of course. One about like, if there's any tech issues, you can comment in there. But it's a great place. In the KAL chat, that's where people are usually sharing their yarns and their progress and all that. It's really fun. And just it's always a good time. People always want me to keep the Discord open even after the knit alongs have ended, so that they can keep chatting after the knit along ends, because they just really enjoy. It's usually a very positive experience. I've never had any issues with any negativity, which is just lovely. I love building a positive experience. So yeah, so kind of touched on this, but with the weekly email insights, I'll be sending out those weekly live streams in email to make sure you don't miss them, but also giving you, focused updates, tips, inspiration as you work through each week's goals. And then also at the end, sorry, I'm like, excuse me, but also at the end, we're going to be celebrating with some prizes for those who finish your sweater. So I'm going to go over those prizes here in just a second. I already covered our dates and schedules, so I'm going to skip on over this. But I will say, with the 9-week schedule, it ends. So our celebration is Monday, December 22nd. So that means that you would start your sweater and we would be working on it, and you would have a new sweater by 2026, or in time for the holidays if you celebrate Christmas and all that, or New Year's. You could wear it on New Year's Eve. How cute would that be? And you can enter the new year in your new hand knit sweater. So the schedule works out really well that way, in my opinion. And we do have some awesome prizes. So I'm actually going to switch on over to sharing this tab, which I know I mentioned, but in case you missed it, that this link is in the description below. It's the link where you can get all of the details for the knit along and join if you don't win the raffle. But I just wanted to show off the prizes here. So the prizes up for grabs are, I think there's about 9 winners that can win at the end if you finish your sweater. And the total for the prizes add up to over $500 in value. And I'm like so excited for the prizes. I reached out to a number of different brands and makers, and we've got some good ones. So this one here is a Hands of a Maker course and kit bundle. And basically there's this company, it's this one person basically, but she is Wellness for Makers, and she has a hand care course designed for makers, which basically I found her years ago. So I got a repetitive motion injury from knitting. I got radial tunnel. And during that experience, I went to physical therapy and all that, but I was also just looking into different hand care details. Like, how can I take care of myself so that this doesn't happen again? And I found Wellness for Makers, who is the company of this here. And at the time, she sold these kinds of tools and things like that help you to strengthen or stretch or just work out the tendons and things like that. But now what she does is she has these courses. So this Hands of a Maker course is literally meant for us. It helps you to really, from what I understand, like strengthen, stretch, just take care of your arms and hands. And this prize comes with not only the course where she teaches you how to use all these things and how to take care of yourself a bit better, but also with a kit that comes with the different exercise tools that she recommends, and a signed copy of her book, Wellness for Makers, A Movement Guide for Artists. And the person behind the company here is Missy Graff Balone, I'm guessing is how you say her name, which is at a value of $99. And I just think that's such a great prize. Let me know also, as I'm working through this in the chat, what prize you would ideally love to knit or love to get, or if there's more than one. But we have another course as a prize. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Megan Nodecker of Pipe and Pin, Pip and Pin. But she has a course that's called the Altering Sweater Patterns course. And this is really the perfect prize for finishing your staple sweater, which is a course from Megan Nodecker, awesome knitwear designer, that teaches you how to knit more perfectly fitting sweaters that you'll love and wear for years to come. And that course is valued at $148. So that's just like such a win. It's such a great course. I've checked it out myself, and you'll get a lot of good insights in that. I just think it's such a good prize for this knit along. Another prize we got is Paradise Fibers Super Swift. So this Swift from Paradise Fibers helps you wind up your yarn for your next sweater, right? It does have 2-speed capabilities, and it apparently has the best tension control. I have never used this Swift, but they claim it has the best tension control. And it's also adjustable to handle skeins of all sizes, while also being completely collapsible. And it's this beautiful wooden Swift here. And that is at a value of $99. We also have a $50 gift card to Bare Naked Wool. So Bare Naked Wool is just like such a cool store. I've recently discovered them. And they offer this beautiful, unique natural yarn. It's like these natural dyes you see here. Not even natural dyes. I think it's just the natural color of the sheep or alpaca that they get their wool from. And they also sell patterns, they sell buttons. So whether it's for your next sweater or for a gift for a crafty friend, you'll find it at Bare Naked Wool. And so again, that's a $50 gift card. Another one is a skein of yarn. It's the sock yarn from Blush Fiber Co. And it's this colorway here, which is Raisin Tort. And it's this fingering weight, 75-25 superwash merino nylon, great for socks. And it also comes with a set of 3 glass flower stitch markers, which are so, so pretty. And that's another wonderful prize. This is also 12 balls of Stitch Please. So Stitch Please is a superwash extra fine merino. I believe it's a worsted weight yarn. And one lucky winner is going to receive 12 balls total, but the balls are 2 balls are blueberry pie, which is like this beautiful dark blue. 4 of them are this classic blue that you see here, and then 6 of them are mist, which is like this lovely, lovely light gray. So those are, I'd say, the 6 big prizes. But we also have, I'm going to go back to my little description over here. Stop, share this tab instead. We also have a project journal from Twice Sheared Sheep, which is a super cool project journal for knitters and crocheters. It's got like tabs for you to put your gauge swatches in, to log in all of the details with your projects, and it's valued at $45. I'm also going to be putting up this blocking kit, is what I use to block all of my knits. And it's a set of like these puzzle piece foam blocking kits with pins. And it comes in this cute little case. So that's valued at $55. And then lastly, a wool wash sample pack of my favorite wool wash, Eucalyptus, I believe is how you pronounce it. And it comes with 5 different scents. And actually one is unscented. So I guess 4 scents and 1's unscented. And that's just a great little sample pack for lovely wool wash that you can wash any of your knits in. And that's valued at $30. So we've got 9 winners here, and I'm just so excited for these. I was working hard to really come up with these prizes here. So I hope you're excited about them as well. Let me see what we got here. Cool. Okay. Discord's great. Just curious, how much will it cost? Oh, so Alyssa, I'm just getting to that in just a second. So let me keep going here. So here's pricing. So to join, there's going to be 2 pricing categories. There's going to be one that comes, basically you get your ticket to the knit along as well as the pattern. So if you don't have the pattern yet, this option here is for you. If you do already have the pattern, the KAL only ticket, this pricing option is for you. But for both options, there's going to be an early bird pricing option here, and then a regular price option here. And so basically, if you are doing the KAL, if you want to get the KAL and the pattern, it's just $10 more to cover that price of the pattern. And then it's, X amount of money for the experience. So for the KAL only and the early bird pricing, $25, $24.99 for the experience. That for the early bird, and then for the regular price, the experience costs $34.99. And basically for the early bird pricing, right now, early bird pricing is going on, and early bird pricing ends next week. So a week from now, at the end of the day on October 19th. And then we get into the regular pricing from the 20th to the 26th. And then doors open, or not doors open, but the knit along itself starts on October 27th. That's when we start working on our gauge swatching together. And I think that was it. Yeah, that was it for my presentation here. So I'm going to go over here. I think I basically covered everything. Let me make sure I'm not. So sorry. Let me just get myself together. I'm on like one screen right now, and typically when I stream, I have 2. So I'm just like scrambling a little bit. But yeah, I just want to point you again to this page here. Share screen. And this is linked in the description below. And it goes over all the details. So if you were late to join, It tells you all the things that are included in the KAL, how it works, the KAL schedule, the pricing options here, as well as a little details about the staple sweater, some notes from past knit-alongs, the prizes, which I also wanted to point out, you can check out more details about the prizes on this page as well. I linked to all the different places. I also have a list of FAQs at the bottom just for your reference. And I wanted to share one quick thing too about the pricing. So you might be familiar with knit-alongs, like my past knit-alongs. Oh, real quick, I will say, good question, Alyssa. Yes, there are recordings. So recordings are instantly available to you as soon as the live streams end. So if you miss it, no big deal. Also, if you want to have your question answered live and you know that you're going to miss a live stream, then you can always ask them in advance in Discord. Of course, we'll be answering questions in Discord around the clock, but if you want to get it answered live, if you want me to show something live, you can always ask it in Discord ahead of time, and I'll keep an eye out for those types of questions so I can cover them in the live streams. So I did just want to cover pricing real quick. So with a lot of knit-alongs that you might be familiar with, if you are familiar with knit-alongs, many of them are just the price of the pattern. And that's kind of what I've done in the past as well. But for me, with past knit-alongs, I've only done 2 before. And during those 2, I was really kind of experimenting to find out what worked, what didn't, how can I make sure that I get provide the best knit-along experience possible, right? And so it felt unfair to charge more than just the pattern during those first 2 knit-alongs that I did. But now that I'm more familiar with how much work it takes, I'm familiar how to give you the best knit-along experience possible, I am upping the price. So it's not just the price of the pattern anymore. It's those early bird pricings. It's the regular pricing, because these take a lot of work. So I will say too, most knit-alongs that do charge just for the cost of the pattern, it's very low key. It's very like, do your own thing, finish your sweater by this date and you'll be eligible to win a prize. And maybe there's an option where you can chat with people, but that's about it. But with this one, it's a little bit more inclusive. It's a little bit more involved with me doing these weekly live streams, me offering support in the Discord, and sending out emails, sending out reminders, support. So with all of the work that takes, that's why this is charging a little bit more than those other knit-along experiences that you might be familiar with. So with all that being said, though, I am offering that early bird pricing. So it's a little bit more accessible for those who want to get in. And we are doing this raffle. So let's pick some raffle winners, okay? Let me share screen. I've got a huge wheel here where we are going to spin to select the winners of this raffle. So let me make sure you can see this okay. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see, we've got 796 entries. So to enter, if you entered in, you basically get 1 entry for giving me your email and signing up on my little website thing that I shared out. And you got bonus entries for every friend tagged on the pinned knit-along post on Instagram. So you'll see here, some people have multiple entries, and that's because they commented and tagged some friends in that Instagram post. So for some of these, they're also just Instagram handles, whereas the rest are all emails, which I don't want to necessarily be showing you. So I apologize for that. But let's spin. This is going to be our very first raffle winner. And the raffle winners are going to get the whole knit-along experience free, including if they don't have it already. So our very first raffle winner is this person. I'm not going to try to read the email address, but I will be contacting this person via email to let them know. If you are in the chat, be sure to comment to say that you won. But yeah, so raffle winners are going to be winning the whole experience for free, whether you have the pattern or not. So that is so exciting. Congrats to our very first winner. We've got 2 more to go. So I'm going to remove this person from the selection here. And I'm going to spin for our second winner of the raffle. Here we go. Good luck. Oh my goodness. So many entries. I can't believe it. It's wild. Okay, who do we got? Who do we got? Okay, MT Lontiveros at Gmail. Congratulations. We have one more winner to select. I'm going to remove this person from the total amount of entries. And our final raffle winner is going to be selected. So let's see who it is. Okay, making a McKenna with only one N. McKenna with only one N is our third raffle winner. So congrats to all of our raffle winners. I will be contacting you, making sure you get all set up. But if you did not win the raffle, the doors are now open to the knit along. So please head on over to the description below, and in it you'll find a link where, again, I will just, you know what, let me pull that up one more time. Stop sharing. Oh, I meant to share it. My bad. So I'm just going to share this one more time. Present, share screen. Congrats again, yeah, to all of our live stream winners. Share. Perf. So yeah, I just want to point out this is the link in the description below. And again, you can find all of the knit along details right here. But also this is where you can purchase, for those of us who did not win the raffle, your ticket. So any of these buttons here, if you hit join the knit along now, will bring you right down to choose your ticket option. And you're going to choose whether, if you need the pattern, you're going to choose option 1 here, KAL and pattern. If you don't need the pattern, then you're going to hit knit along only. And then once you determine which one makes sense for you, hit purchase now. It's going to bring you over to a page that looks like this, and you'll add to cart and just check out as normal. And you'll get an email with, I wonder if I can show you. Basically, you'll get an email with a link that will take you back to the website, and you'll see, whether you got the knit along ticket and the pattern or just the knit along ticket. You'll see downloads available in that link that I send you, and you can just hit download now to download both the pattern and the knit along ticket. And the knit along ticket has more details, your next steps of what to do to get started here. Now, again, the knit along itself does not start until the 27th, but that ticket gives you access to the Discord. It gives you a link so you sign up for emails so you don't miss any of those weekly updates. You don't miss any of the live stream links, for example. Yeah, all those details will get emailed to you with your knit along ticket. So go on over there, and I hope to see you in the knit along. If you did not join or not win, I hope you still join us, because it's going to be a really wonderful time. We're going to make so many friends, I think, throughout the process. We usually do. We're going to get so much inspiration, so much guidance, all that jazz. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any comments. I do see Mary Jo is asking, this is knit in the round, correct? Yes, the staple sweater is knit in the round from the top down. And yeah, which is my favorite way to knit. I'm a big TV knitter myself, so I love things that have a little bit of, complexity, like different steps like we're working on here, but then just a lot of stockinette in the round TV knitting. But yes, this is knit in the round. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me at Jeanette@newwaveKnitting.com or send me a DM on Instagram. But I really hope to see you all in there. I'm going to be sending out some more emails with info about the knit along as we lead up to it. But the Discord is available when you sign up, and I hope to see you in there. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. Congrats again to all of the raffle winners, and I can't wait to be knitting some sweaters with you guys this fall. So take care, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I hope to see you in the knit along. All right. Happy knitting, everyone. Bye-bye.